I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving.
What's good, guys? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's dive into Smackdown for May the 12th, 2023. This was a pretty decent episode of Smackdown for the most part. I enjoyed it. So we kicked the show off with the first triple threat match of the night for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Edge versus AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. This was a very solid TV match. I enjoyed it. AJ Styles got the win via the Phenomenal Forearm. The only thing I didn't like about the match was the entrances, because Edge was the only one that got a true entrance, whereas AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio, they got jobber entrances. I didn't like that. Not a good look. AJ winning actually makes the most sense. I know a lot of people kind of wanted Edge to win, but it is what it is. I think what Edge is going to be doing is probably going to be put in a program with Karrion Kross. I've heard that online a little bit. And it actually, to me, makes a lot of sense. You could start that feud around Money in the Bank and have it continue through SummerSlam and end it sometime in the fall. I think that would be perfect. Because Edge has done it all in the business. There's not much else that Edge can do except to, kind of get people over in decent feuds. And I think that Edge and Karrion Kross working together, that would be tremendous for both men. The promos would be lit. And Edge, he can still go. But I think that would be the best use of Edge. Now, I don't know when Edge is going to hang up the boots. I really don't know. But he's going to probably hang them up before the end of the year. And then he might do maybe a couple of one-offs in 2024. Maybe like, a WrestleMania here and maybe a SummerSlam there. But Edge is winding down, But that's what I would do with Edge. I think that would be the best use of Edge. We don't need to see Roman versus Edge. We've done that quite a few times. Edge doesn't need to be in the mid-card title scene. Like, Edge is U.S. champion makes no sense. So I think this is the most reasonable and logical option for him, is to just be in a feud with, guys like Karrion Kross, LA Knight, guys like that. Moving on, so the Usos, they were backstage, and they were getting hyped up for later on in the show. So that was kind of cool there. Moving on, the second round of the tournament, triple threat match, Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory, who is the U.S. champion, who shouldn't even be in this tournament. This spot could have gone to LA Knight or Karrion Kross. That's what I would have done. Why the hell is Austin Theory in this? Makes no sense. Hell, you could even put Grayson Waller in here if you wanted to. So this match was all right, but the finish was your typical WWE triple threat match. Typical. And I figured they were going to do it here because they weren't going to do it in the first one. So basically, towards the end of the match, Lashley locked in the Hurt Lock on Theory. Sheamus then breaks it up with a bro kick, and he takes out Austin Theory. Then Lashley throws Sheamus over the top rope and then pins Austin Theory for the 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm glad that Lashley won, but did Austin Theory need to lose, who is a champion? Again, I hate my damn champions losing. Doesn't make sense. Austin Theory should have never been in this match to begin with. And Lashley as of late has become directionless. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just call a spade, and, let's just get real. Bobby Lashley has been directionless for quite some time now. And this is not good. This is not good at all. I don't know what you do with Bobby Lashley. And I'm a big fan of Lashley. I love him. But I don't know what WWE is doing with Lashley. I don't. I know Michael Cole had mentioned at Backlash that he wants to face Roman Reigns, but so does AJ Styles. I don't know. Maybe we could see it Money in the Bank. Maybe a triple threat match. I mean, I would hate it, but Roman's not losing the title probably until SummerSlam. So that would be kind of the best way to go about it. Because if you look at it, I've already researched this. There is no pay-per-view in June for WWE. So I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to be building just a solid month of stuff and stories for Money in the Bank coming up in early July. So I guess that's the best option would be to go ahead and do like a triple threat match with Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. You can kind of kill two birds with one stone right there, and then have Roman Reigns focus on Cody, because Money in the Bank is in early July, and then SummerSlam is right after in early August. So it makes sense. You have Cody win Money in the Bank, and then you have him come out like that next night, say that he's going to challenge Roman Reigns, and then you ship Cody off to SmackDown, and you give them exactly 1 month to build their program. And I think that would make the most sense. Because, I'll mention this later on, the Bloodline storyline now has transcended championships. Meaning the story doesn't need championships anymore. We just need to see the downfall of the Bloodline. But I think that's what they're going to do with Bobby Lashley. I did think they will probably end up getting like a triple threat match with Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and AJ Styles. And you guys know I despise triple threat matches, but I don't see them doing an AJ and Roman one-on-one match or Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns one-on-one. I don't see it. Not for Money in the Bank. Moving on. So Adam Pearce, he's backstage talking to somebody about how great tonight's main event will be. So Grayson Waller, he comes into play, and he's glad to be here on Smackdown, even though he was drafted late. Grayson Waller wants the winner of tonight's main event to be on the Grayson Waller effect next week. Pearce says this will be okay. So I do like this. It actually makes sense. I presume that there's going to be a feud between AJ Styles and Grayson Waller, which is perfect. Again, Grayson Waller and AJ Styles had a pretty decent little feud earlier on last year in NXT. It was pretty decent. Can't remember if it was early in 2022 or if it was the middle part. I can't remember, but they had a pretty good little feud last year. Moving on, Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin. He made his debut. So basically, Corbin gets on the mic and introduces Cameron Grimes and says that he's surprised he showed up, as that takes guts. So Baron Corbin says Cameron Grimes will not be making a name off of Corbin tonight. So the bell rung after that, and then Cameron Grimes wins with the cave-in immediately. How much do you guys want to bet that they're going to run this shit back next week? I guarantee you that. They're going to run this shit back next week. And I guarantee you, this is probably going to end up leading to Cameron Grimes eventually becoming a tag team with Baron Corbin. How much you guys want to bet? How much you guys want to bet? I guarantee you this shit's going to happen. I guarantee you. I already see it. I guarantee you guys this shit's going to happen. Guarantee you. It's inevitable. Moving on. So the Bloodline, they hit the ring. So Roman Reigns went to Knoxville to acknowledge him. Roman says that's what greatness garners. It garners respect, but regardless of reactions or not, this is one thing that must be respected. There's a lot of talk about royal families and families of importance in this business, but let's be honest, there's only one. So Roman Reigns says every man in this ring main evented both nights of WrestleMania, and they were the only family and they'll be the only family to ever do this. Roman says he carried the momentum to Backlash. Roman says the momentum carried on to Backlash even when he wasn't there. Who stepped up? This time it was Solo Sikoa who stepped up. Roman says he had some concern when they first brought Solo up because of experience, but when it comes to sinking or swimming, Solo swims like a damn shark and always handles problems. Solo apparently mentions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns, he laughs it off, and he says, don't worry, they're not a problem. Not the problem. So then if Sami Zayn chant breaks up for a second, Roman says there's an actual problem, but it's not Sami and Kevin Owens. The problem is your brothers. I'm like, oh, here it is. So Roman brings up their loss at WrestleMania and then how they dedicated a loss to him. Reigns can't figure out why they dedicated a tag team match to him when he's the greatest single wrestler ever. He says they disrespected Roman Reigns says that they disrespected the Hall of Fame tag teams in their family. Roman tries to take some time off, but they misrepresented him and disrespected the Bloodline. Reigns says they know better than this, so apologize. So the Usos, they look back and forth at each other. Roman says he wants nothing but an apology to come out of their mouths. So Jimmy laughs as both hesitate, and they shrug. Okay. So the fans start to chant no to Jimmy. Roman says, don't listen to these idiots. So then Roman pushes Jimmy back by his face. Jimmy's not happy. He starts to rile up a little bit. Roman asks if he's going to do something. Heyman slowly exits the ring. Jimmy goes for Reigns, but Jay holds him back and says there's something we can't hear. So the fans, they chanted something and then they bleeped it out. I don't know what it was. Jay says that they apologize, and if Roman gives them one more shot, they'll bring the titles back to the Bloodline. Roman says they're right. The titles will come back to the Bloodline. Roman tells his wise man to fill everyone in. Paul Heyman says Roman came tonight with a game plan already in hand. So Paul Heyman was advertised to pull all strings with the board of directors to flex their Bloodline muscle. Paul Heyman announces that Roman and Solo Sikoa will take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles at Night of Champions. So the Usos, they're shocked. And I'm like, oh shit. So Roman says he and Solo will do what they always do, that is dominate and hold it down for the Bloodline. And then Roman gets on the mic and he dedicates the win to the greatest tag team of all time, the Wild Samoans, Alba and Sika. And I'm like, oh shit. This was absolutely golden. I loved every minute of this. I just wish that we got this shit the night after Mania. That's what should have happened. We had to wait 5.5 weeks to get this shit. 5.5 weeks. When we could have got it back at the Smackdown after Mania. Doesn't make any damn sense. Now, do I see Roman and Solo winning? The answer is no. We know that the Usos more than likely will get involved and cost Roman and Solo the match. So that way Sami and Kevin can retain. And then that's when we see the downfall of the Bloodline there. Where the Usos they'll either get a beatdown from Roman and Solo, or they'll be forever excluded from the Bloodline, exiled from the Bloodline. And I think that's what's going to happen. Roman's not going to have 4 titles. Roman's losing at SummerSlam. I mean, there's no way that WWE is going to continue the Cody Rhodes story up until next year's WrestleMania 40. It's not going to happen. It doesn't make any damn sense. What would make the most sense is for Roman to lose at SummerSlam, and then for the remainder of the year, we can see the downfall of the Bloodline. And that's what they're probably going to do. So, there's that. So, Kayla Braxton is backstage with Damage Control. So, Bayley talks about how she and Roman Reigns are a lot alike as leaders. She says she takes the blame on herself and says she pushed Io Sky for the title, but maybe Io wasn't ready for it. Bayley says leaders also take control themselves, which she will do tonight when she and Dakota Kai bring gold back home to Damage Control. Bayley goes on and says, tell Roman that SmackDown belongs to Damage Control. She laughs and then they walk off. Okay, that's fine, but who really gives a shit about Damage Control? They've not been over for months. Really since SummerSlam. But who's counting? So, Bayley and Dakota Kai, aka Damage Control, versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they retain. It's not really that important. We're still seeing the downfall of Damage Control, which actually makes the most sense. Liv wins via roll-up. And I think that we had Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn watching. So that's interesting to say the least. Again, I think what they're going to do is they're probably going to keep the NXT women's tag titles exclusive to SmackDown. I guess. I don't know. We might even get a unification match come Night of Champions. That's what would make the most sense if you think about it. That's what I would do. Next, Pretty Deadly. They finally make their debut. So they introduce themselves to the Brawling Brutes backstage. They insult them. So the Brawling Brutes are ready to fight. But they put the brakes on as Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, they hurry away. And then the Brutes are off to down some paints. So I do like that. That's kind of cool. And then for next week, they're going to take on... Pretty Deadly will take on the Brawling Brutes, which to me it's something that I wouldn't rush into. I really wouldn't. Again, we need to start building feuds instead of just automatically just giving off, one-on-one matches just because Team A has a problem with Team B and they, have a backstage segment and then we get a match. Like, it shouldn't lead to that. Pretty Deadly just got there, But, I'm fine with it, but I just want it to be an actual feud. But it seems like they're going to go the Imperium route, Moving on, so Bianca Belair, she comes out for her championship celebration. So Bianca comes out, and then Bianca gets into the ring. So Asuka comes out, and we haven't seen her since WrestleMania. So Bianca Belair is confused. So Asuka goes to congratulate Bianca Belair and shake her hand, but she spits the green mist in Bianca's face instead. So Bianca screams like crazy, and then Bianca just bounces around and everything. So Asuka dips out of the ring. So again, to me, this is fine. I know people have been saying that Bianca needs to lose the title, but not really. What people have to understand is that Bianca is over. She's massively over. She's only been on the main roster for, I think, about 2.5 years. She came on the main roster during the pandemic. And she's hit home runs and grand slams ever since. Bianca's not losing to Asuka at all. And yes, I understand that people think that Asuka deserves better, and she does. But Asuka would be better, in my opinion, on Raw. A lot of people don't realize that Asuka is good, but she would be better on Raw than she would on SmackDown. I would much rather her be on Raw and have her be the one to hold that division down next to Rhea Ripley, or, that's what I would do. But I think that Asuka, to me, is a good hand, She's fine. Is she going to become champion again? No. So, we got to deal with it, man. We really have to kind of just accept it. Bianca's not losing. Bianca's massively over. Bianca also is huge outside of wrestling as well. So there's that perspective. So she works as a business perspective. People have to understand that too. Asuka does deserve better, but I don't know. I don't know where you put her. You can't put her in NXT. So, who knows? But moving on, the main event, AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. The tournament semifinals. AJ Styles wins. I don't know how Bobby Lashley got busted open, but he did. And I hope that he's okay. I really do. Because that was nasty. So AJ Styles wins via the Phenomenal Forearm. And it'll be AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins at Night of Champions, which makes the absolute most sense. Post-match, AJ Styles is celebrating, and then out comes the OC, Gallows and Anderson, and Mia Yim, a.k.a. Michin. And they celebrate with Styles, and then we go off the air. So this is fine. It actually makes sense. Now, I've heard some people say that Grayson Waller is going to cost AJ Styles. No, that doesn't need to happen. Rollins should beat AJ Styles clean. He should have no problem beating AJ Styles clean. At all. No problem whatsoever. So I do expect AJ Styles to lose at Night of Champions and have Seth Rollins win. And hopefully when Rollins wins, we see Drew McIntyre the next night. Or on Monday Night Raw. And I would love that. I would love for it to be a feud between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. You know, starting the feud at maybe Money in the Bank, and continuing on through SummerSlam, and end it sometime in the fall. But that's what I would do if I was booking it. But what did you guys think? The show to me was, for the most part, okay. It was decent. I'm really digging the Bloodline stuff. Again, Roman Reigns is not winning 4 championships. Roman more than likely will lose at SummerSlam. Pretty Daily on the main roster is going to be solid. It's going to be fun. Grayson Waller, same thing. He's going to be good. He's golden. The work of AJ Styles is going to be tremendous. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.